Oh, thank you for having me. I don't know how to use these well. I'm a writer, so I use these guys. I'll try not to look at them too much. They're mostly Paris quotes. You know, this is a great honor, such an honor to be here tonight to present you, Paris, with the Upton Sinclair Award for what they say is for idealism and vision. Unfortunately, I know Paris because he used that word on me, charity, about a decade and a half ago when he relented and finally read my spec scripts. And I failed writing a script for him, and he hired me again, and I guess I did all right because he gave me my start in this industry, so thank you. And that's how I know Paris. I know Paris through show business, through film. And he told me a story about a producer, and you hear this all the time. I've heard this before, or something like it before. He went to a producer, and the producer had a problem with the story he was trying to tell. The producer said, all right, so you got this main character, Paris, and the main character is black. Isn't that enough of a challenge? You want to make this character black and gay? That's impossible. That's too much. But that's not true. That's not the case for Paris Barclay. It never has been. He is black and he is gay, but that is not why we're here to celebrate him tonight, not because he's overcome being other than and different than. It's something much more unique. It's something he does that most people I know do not do. It is the way he reacts when he is treated differently. It's the way he reacts when he's been attacked or faced with a situation that causes fear. And what he does that so many do not do is he reacts by building a bridge. He reacts by finding commonality. And I've had the privilege of getting to know Paris over the last decade or so, and I'll share a couple of these stories. One that I love is when he was in high school. He was in high school, and you know, all the other kids were quite different than him, and there was one in particular who was very different. Not just because of how he looked, but probably because of his politics. And they did a few things together, though. They were on the football team together. They were also in drama club together. And he had a quote about this guy. He said, one of the most outstanding performances in the play, You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, where Paris was Snoopy and his brother played Charlie Brown, was a young man named John Roberts, who would become, yes, Chief Justice Roberts, who played Peppermint Patty. Now, you know, Paris could have shared that story with the world when Mr. Roberts got his job and attacked him and gone after him and caused more division, but he didn't react like that. He wrote this letter to Mr. Roberts, and he said, I think we might actually agree on more than most people would think. And in fact, thanked him for his pro bono work on the Romer case, which actually protected LGBT rights. Then he went off to college. He went off to college and he came out, and he had his first boyfriend. But he also, when leaving a bar in South Boston, was beaten severely for being gay. And he was picked up by a sympathetic taxi driver who took him to Harvard Square without charging him. And this is how he reacted in this moment. This is the thought that went through his head. He said, the lesson there was that there are horrible, negative, evil people in this world, and then there are their cab drivers who will get you safely to where you're going for nothing. That's the balance of this world. And he says, and I want to be on the cab driver's side if I can. And then in adulthood for Paris, his wonderful partner, Christopher, and now husband, they had a ticket to be on one of the planes that flew into the World Trade Center on 9/11. And the fear of that attack, we all felt the fear of that attack. But Paris and Christopher decided they needed to create positive change. And they thought, how can we create positive change in this world? And they said, we should start a family. And they started looking into starting a family in the city of Los Angeles and discovered there were 35,000 kids in foster care in the city of Los Angeles, and many of them were not adopted because of the color of their skin. And Paris said that that made him furious, and that his impulse with his husband Christopher was to adopt as many as he possibly could. Now he's up to 2, and I'd like to see that continue growing. But that's what Paris does, and it's what he's always done. It's what I've learned from him most, is to react to situations where you meet someone different by building a bridge and finding commonality. You can see it in all of his work that he shares with the entire world, whether you're watching Glee and learning about LGBT equality, or disabled people in Glee or in House, or even racial equality in, say, City of Angels, the beautiful show that you created. And I think most notably, he even took on a task that many in my profession would think is undoable. And he brought humanity in a show called The West Wing to The Politician. Sorry. Wrong room for that joke? I don't know. No, but seriously, I thank you so much for the lessons you've taught me and you've taught all of us and that you've been sharing with the world about how to build bridges and how to react to attacks and to fear. And, and I thank you so much for when you met this kid who was so very different than you, a white Mormon kind of pansy kid from Texas, that you reacted with vision, and you gave me some vision. And I thank you for sharing that with me and giving me a shot and with all of us so that we can learn from you. It is my great honor to present the Upton Sinclair Award to my dear friend and mentor, Paris Barclay.